Cubs rally to beat the Pirates Wrigley Field on Sunday, and they avoid a sweep to a team that is up and coming and that played a really good series against the Cubs. But they had their chances. We're going to talk about how maybe this gets them moving in the right direction and out of a bunch of slumps. My observations of the Cubs through the first couple weeks of the season and more. Be a part of this channel, guys. Comment. Make sure you're a subscriber. Is together we try to get to 10,000 subscribers, and know that we talk Cubs on a daily basis. So let's get this party started. Good to see you guys. And we'll see an old friend in tonight's game, Kyle Schwarber. Let's go. That open years of memories being in the Cubs organization and being a Cubs fan my entire life. And it's great to have you guys here to talk Cubs on a daily basis. So thank you for hanging, and let's get this show started. All right, first thing, let's go. Let's go. I was clapping and screaming at the TV as the Cubs came from behind. They were down 5. Jamison Tyone hit pretty hard in this game. But you know what? He stuck in there, and it turned out to make a difference because the bullpen definitely needed him to throw innings, and the Cubs found the way to bounce back and win this game 8-7. That was a huge win for the Cubs. They really, really needed to win that game because now they don't get swept, and maybe they have some momentum as they head towards this series with the Phillies. All right, let me start with this. Dansby Swanson, when he hits, the Cubs win. And I'm not always sold on his bat, right? But when he's on base, he can run the bags as good as anyone. And my dad used to tell me 90% of the games up here. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I think a lot of it is played between the ears, and this guy has it in that area. And I loved watching him run bases in that game yesterday. There was a bases loaded situation. Balls popped up, I think, by Bregman. The second baseman's battling and then falls as he's catching it in shallow, and I mean really shallow right field. Dansby tags and scores. Huge run for the Cubs. And then obviously when Michael Busch had the pinch hit, base hit in the 8th inning, Dansby Swanson, again, heads up base running, scored, and he made a difference in this game, not only with his defense, but we talk about base running. He helped the Cubs win the game. Without that base running, I don't think they could have won. And I feel like this. If Dansby Swanson gets going and he starts to hit, the Cubs win. And I don't know why, but every time he gets going, the team gets going. He's paid a lot of money to be the shortstop, to be one of the leaders on the team. He just hasn't been that consistent of a hitter as a member of the Cubs, and he hasn't been that clutch. I thought he had a really clutch game against the Pirates on Sunday, and I hope that is a sign of things to come. Now, a guy that I figured, and look, you guys know this, I told you that I felt like Michael Busch would contend for an MVP. He starts the season in a horrible slump. He was 0 for 30 and was benched in the game. He was on the bench, came and pinch hit and got a really big hit in the game, and it changed the game, and I hope that it changes the direction of his season because I'm telling you, that was really tough to watch. He's one of the best hitters on the team, but he just has not been getting it done. Even with the hit and the snap of the 0 for 30 at the plate, he's still batting just 135, 233 on base percentage, and slugging just 173, right? That's going to change. He's about to get this going. That's going to help the team. But when you look at some of the guys that we thought were really going to contribute, how about Alex Bregman? Not a good start to his Cubs career. He's hitting 213, 290, and 328 is his slugging. You look at Dansby Swanson, who I said had a good game. He's striking out 35% of his at-bats, and he's only hitting 163, although his on-base percentage is over 300, 311. And then Pete Crow Armstrong, frustrating right now watching him strike out, 19 times in 15 games. He chases a lot of pitches. He's got to be more disciplined at the plate. He's hitting only 203 this year and slugging 271. Cubs paid him. They paid him big money to be a contributor, and I think it's going to happen. I think a big part of his game is just continuing to work on the strike zone, get that figured out. And I think a lot of things will follow, right? But when you swing at strikes, you have a better chance of hitting them, right? You swing at pitches that aren't strikes, it's harder to do anything with those, right? Okay, so that I wanted to bring that up. Now, I want to tell you guys this. Under my microphone is a QR code. That's for our AveD home, Mick Nation. I didn't name it, but I love the name. Look, I'm Mick Nation. All the things I'm involved in spill back to that. We have games and prizes. We give away cash and swag, and we'll have a lot of Cubs stuff going on there at AveD at Mick Nation. So make sure that you're a part of that as you hang out with us, and appreciate you for being here. One of the things I have to say, and I'm going to say it right off the bat, I got this one wrong, and I'm glad I got it wrong. When we looked at the team during the offseason, I wasn't really captivated by what the Cubs had behind the plate. Now, I knew they weren't going to make any moves. I was looking around the league going, hey, this would be an opportunity to go get someone that's a difference maker at catcher. But these guys have gotten off the first 2 weeks to really good starts. Carson Kelly, let's start with him. The hard hit rate's been one of the best. And then he gets the game-winning hit. That goes down as a single, but, it would have been a bases clearing double had the game not ended. Those are huge. Cubs needed it. And I'm glad that he's the guy that got it done, right? Super excited about Carson Kelly. And he's always been good defensively. And then Miguel Amaya looks the part. I mean, he's been so much better than I thought he was going to be. And he's always been kind of the prototypical catcher. He's had the arm and the body, but he's hitting. And he's someone that when he comes up in the lineup, he's dangerous. And the Cubs catchers both have done a good job this year. And then I guess you can throw Moises Ballesteros in there. I don't think he's a catcher. I think he's a DH, but he's working on catching. Big home run on the game Sunday. Cubs need to get his bat going as well. And then when he hits, he can do a lot of things with the baseball. I wouldn't put him in the slump category, but I'd say that the Cubs catchers, all three of them, have done really well this year. Now, one of the issues that the Cubs are dealing with is injuries. And Jed Hoyer kind of said that was a worry of his at the beginning of the year, right? And I get it because the Cubs didn't have a rash of injuries last year. And now all of a sudden we're talking about, 2 weeks in and it's, Hunter Harvey, Phil Maton out of the bullpen, Harvey, right? Triceps inflammation, 15-day IL. Maton, right knee tendonitis, 15-day IL. Matthew Boyd, starting pitcher, left bicep strain, 15-day IL. Cade Horton, done for the year. Tommy John surgery. Before the season started, Porter Hodge, right flexor strain. Jordan Wicks, left forearm inflammation. And you hope that Justin Steele can get back soon and help the Cubs. Now, on the good side of things, we're getting to see some of these guys from the minor leagues, and Riley Martin. I should have done a video on Riley Martin. I've been a big fan of his left-hander. He's come in. He so far so good for him, but he's been one of the best Cubs developed left-handers out of the bullpen that they have in their system. And you got the always fashionable Ethan Roberts with the glasses. He looked good in the game on Sunday. Don't know much about left-hander Charlie Barnes, but he came up in Harvey's place, and he's a guy that had some experience as a starter and someone that, the Cubs are going to rely on coming out of the bullpen. He's the guy that was in the Korean Baseball League for playing over there for a team called the Giants, not the San Francisco Giants, but I think it's the Latte Giants or the whatever, however they pronounce it. But he's got an opportunity now to help out, and the Cubs are going to need these guys to step up. Now, Cubs and Phillies start their series. Our old buddy Kyle Schwarber is going to be there. Let me run through this as the Cubs take on a Phillies team that's 7 up and 7 down this year. All the games, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, are 6:40 in Philadelphia. Christopher Sanchez against Javier Assad. That is the Monday matchup. You got Aaron Nola against Colin Ray on Tuesday, and Jesus Luzardo against Shota Imanaga on Wednesday. Again, with the Cubs playing against the Philadelphia Phillies. So, interestingly enough, you're talking about a pretty good lineup with Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber and Brandon Marsh and Justin Crawford and Trey Turner. I mean, that's a team that can hit. And, and then the Cubs coming at them with their lineup. And you hope that with the win that the Cubs just had, that they come in with some momentum. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging here. Let me pitch a couple shows to you. I try to do it during the show, but I forgot today. So here we are at the end. So if you're still hanging, check out Beer Money with Jody Davis. We were talking about the 2016 team, their show, which is called Lovable Reunion. It's David Ross and Anthony Rizzo. You guys know I am a huge fan of this. When the Marquee Network started, I thought we were going to have a lot of Cubs content like this. I thought that the network was going to be this kind of stuff because I can't get enough of it. If you haven't seen it yet, it's so good. And I'm asking Jody Davis on Beer Money, did you guys take shots before games? And were you a guy's personal catcher like David Ross and John Lester? They had Lester on, and that's Jody Davis's Hall of Fame partner, right? Because both of them got into the Cubs Hall of Fame this year. So anyway, it was just cool watching and us talking about it and hearing Jody's kind of relating the Bobby Derniers and the Ryan Sandbergs and the Sarges and the Rick Sutcliffes, who he said was Sut's catcher for years, so it's pretty cool. You guys check that out. And then know that Jesse Rogers will be with us on Wednesday as we kind of update you on what a guy that's there every day thinks. All right. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, help us get to 10,000. Love you guys. Thank you for being here, and go.